We've got 10 nights until the next full moon.
Well, he was what I would call a Sasquatch.
Pilots that showed unidentified flying objects.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
I don't believe 99% of the things that people claim they've seen. I think this is in that 1%.
A lot of people make fun of me, but I don't care. I know it's there.
G'day and welcome to the Mellow Tiger podcast. My name's Bree and we're back again for a fourth. You fucking kidding me?
No, go. It's good. It works with it. Keep going.
What are you doing? I don't know.
Rewatch it. It'll be fine. We're here with Josh and Jord.
Jord.
Hello.
And Josh.
Hey.
It may sound, sorry to cut you off. No, I don't care. It may sound weird that we do identify each other still at the start, but a lot of people still listen to the audio version of this. So if we over explain descriptions of things when it's like, bitch, you can just pop a photo up. It's like not everyone watches, which is great. I think we're still about 60% of people are still listening to the audio version. And what out of 60 minus what equals? So 40% of people, I'm just fucking.
Holy shit.
Josh was looking at me in pure disgust. He's like,
I
even
thought
I
it
can
was
do
really
that.
good maths. I was like, quick math.
It's
good.
Doesn't have to be right, just got to be quick.
Yeah.
So that's why most of you still hear descriptions of things, and it's all important to identify whose voice is voice. I mean, obviously, whose voice is voice, whose voice is whose.
Mine's the one that slurs.
It's because you're drunk.
Josh just like didn't even deny it. He's like,
Stop it, you. Stop it, you handsome man.
stop it. So we're back, and we've been talking already for, I'm not even kidding, an hour and 10 minutes about politics, haven't we?
Longer than that, hasn't it?
I know, and it got heated, and it's really interesting because we all share very different ideas of politics. And Jord was like, "We should post it," and I was just like, "Why would?" I was like, "It'd be very quick rise and fall."
Yeah. One episode, done.
Be like, ooh, a roller coaster. But yeah, so again, we're bringing articles that we like or things we've heard about. Josh has been running around all day trying to look for his dog.
Mine might be a little bit short.
Stop. It'll turn up, I'm
It'll
sure.
be fine. Not the dog. I'm more worried about the story.
Oh, okay. No, be worried about your dog.
I forgot all about it till you brought it back up.
Are you ready to get into it? Can I go first? Just because my brain doesn't.
Yeah, go
it's
for
not
it.
retaining as much as it used to.
Have you asked for permission? Like, if we said no, you wouldn't?
I probably wouldn't, I'd be
I
like,
don't think you
okay.
would. Yeah. So I'm going to say no.
Well, now that you've said that, though, I have an idea. Why don't you go fuck yourself real quick? Well, mine is about the Palmyra wolves. The Palmyra wolves. Have you heard of this story?
No.
I've heard of wolves. I haven't heard what Palmyra.
Palmyra wolves.
No.
Pavlov,
No.
the cake.
If you haven't heard this story, you're in for a little treat. Okay? Okay, right?
Hope someone gets... No, I'm not going to say dead.
So, why is that like the pinnacle of what you expect to how someone dies?
Someone
Makes a
dies.
good story.
What, a dog scratched at the door and that was it? I want to hear they walked through the door, grabbed him out of bed, and then Nottingham and tore him apart. And
It
that
sounds like
one
an
Dad
erotic
told
novel.
that time was crazy.
Oh, that
it
was
had me
cool.
sweating.
So
Yeah, but
cool.
it's not true. Do you know what I mean? Like this story
Dad's wasn't
this story is potentially true.
Okay, go.
Makes it even
That's
better.
what makes it so saucy and spicy. So the state of Maine in the US. So it's a northeast coast state
Yeah, it's where the crocodile was, wasn't it?
in Maine.
Yeah. Remember that movie?
No?
Lake Placid?
Oh, was that set in Maine?
I'm pretty sure that was in Maine.
Oh, well,
Stephen
yeah.
King?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's up?
You guys,
What's up?
so
I've travelled
proud
in
of
my
you.
mind.
Do you read Stephen King?
Yeah, I used to love his books. Some of them are a bit cuckoo, but I
I
like
didn't
most
know
of them.
that, but yeah, pretty much.
Hmm.
So that's the hangout. We're in the state of Maine. So in 2005, a man called Eric Martin hurt himself after working 20 years in a paper mill. So he was doing something.
Cut himself, paper cut
Paper
so
cut,
bad.
extreme
he had
paper.
to, yeah.
No, he'd like what do you call it when you slip a disc in your back? Like it was really bad. So it was so bad that his back was fucked, right? So he's rendered disability. So now like can't work. So his wife Shelley, she hadn't worked in quite some time. She now has to get a job to support the family, and not great job prospects where they currently are. So she looks at a few things and she finds that there's a really good job opportunity for her.
At the paper mill. Once it opened up.
It's a vacant position.
No, in their hometown, which was Palmyra. So Palmyra is just this small little town, about 1,200 people. It's very rural community surrounded by dense woodland. Like it's in the middle. I wouldn't say it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's like a very small town.
Lots of trees.
Lots
Turn into
of
paper.
trees.
Paper business was
Paper
good.
business. Yeah. I want an
And
A4 sheet of paper from that tree.
They had a 17-year-old daughter, Chelsea, and like she wasn't too stoked to be moving because it is going from wherever they were to
How
like
old was she?
17.
Yeah, I can tell.
So they're like, yeah, come live in this like small town of 1,200 people.
Yeah, no reception.
Yeah. Eric and Shelley ended up purchasing an old remote farmhouse that sat on a relatively sized acreage. Because everything was so cheap there, they were able to afford like this bigger property with this house on it. And it was considered pretty isolated. So in order to get there, you had to travel down this kind of gravelly, shitty road. And that led you to the top of their very long driveway. And then you went into their long driveway to get to their house. And then when you got to the house, it was pretty much completely surrounded by like thick forest. So typically no one would go into the woods surrounding the house. So it wasn't like you know how sometimes it's just like you'll have a house on a property and then it's surrounded by forest but it's used for like recreation, like maybe the parks and wildlife and that sort of thing. You could go hunting or it's a game area. It was nothing like that. There was no reason to go in there. There was no access to it. There was no nature trails. It was just a very isolated area. So they started moving into this farmhouse, and Eric, being an avid hunter, his entire life, like he loved it, he goes to put his guns inside the house, and Shelley's like, it ain't happening, brother. So she didn't really like guns and had been a point of contention in their entire marriage. She didn't like having them in the house. She thought they were dangerous because she had, I suppose Chelsea's older now, but because of the kids in the house and everything, she never wanted the guns in the house. And she's like, yo, boy, you got this fucking big ass barn now. Go put your shit in that. Like, you're not bringing it into the house. And he was just like, cool. So he was like, yeah, righto, I suppose. So he gets his son, Sean.
Bitch.
I imagine it went not as smooth as what I just said,
you
right?
just explained it, yeah.
I'll be like, so I have to go out to the barn when something's attacking us now. I got to go out of the barn to get me gun.
That was my first thought,
Yeah.
but he was like, I guess...
What's up? He would have gone, what's the point of even having them? And he would have put his hands up and walked away.
Yeah.
But I suppose, like, he's a hunter. It's not like he uses them for self-defense. Like, he uses them mainly for hunting. He's got a lot of guns.
The deer's knocking on the window at night.
What are you going to do now, Eric?
Shit.
And he goes through onto the barn. They're like, scatter!
Don't let him get to the barn. They were like trying to headbutt him.
So they've got a grown son called Sean as well. He doesn't live with them or anything, but he's here now, and he helps his dad go and build this like really heavy duty lockable gun storage cage in the barn. So they were locked up in the barn, and then the barn itself was securely locked, which meant what we just talked about. These guns are now no longer easily accessible. And the barn sits about 20 meters from the house as well. So Eric and Shelley and their daughter Chelsea begin settling into the new place, and Shelley and Eric developed like this cute little routine where every evening they would sit outside on their front porch and they would drink their coffee, which I thought was weird. Wouldn't you be drinking like alcohol? I was like, I think they left something out of the story and it wasn't actually coffee because it's like late at night. I guess it
probably needs
it doesn't matter.
Probably needs that extra boost in case something goes wrong and boost to the barn.
So we can run to the barn if he has to. So they would just sit on the porch, they would chat about their day, have their coffee, and just look over everything. So right in front of their porch is where like the driveway ended. The gravel driveway ends there. That's where they'd park their car and everything. And about 20 meters to their left and a bit further out was their barn. And directly across from them and past the barn was like a big open field, a grassy meadow, some might say, an empty paddock.
An empty paddock.
And they had all that space, and then it would hit the tree line. So I think it was about 200 meters from where they would sit on the porch through the paddock to the tree line.
Not crazy far when you think about it. That's pretty close for the tree line, 200 meters.
I guess that's like mum and dad's house away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about a whole like tree line to a forest, so that's not that far away, really.
No, it's creepy. I feel like it's a
Close
creepy,
enough to be creepy. That's what I'm saying.
Right. It's
close.
it's close enough, but far enough away to be like, what's that? You know what I mean?
That's
like when
true,
you're trying to be like, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
I meant
you
more
can
like
see
close enough to be like if something's there and coming, it's like, oh, there's not much time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like far enough away that if you're trying to think of like what is like I can see something, but I'm not. Are my eyes playing tricks on me?
Some dude
Sort of
just
thing.
going.
So after about a year of living on the property in early 2006,
and shit.
In early 2006, Shelley and Eric were taking part in their evening coffee ritual on the porch when Shelley's attention is moved to something strange in the tree line past the field, so like roughly a couple of 100 meters away. She described seeing these strange pulsating lights. They weren't like car headlights, and they were and there's no roads close by. So she thought, this is really weird. This is super out of place. Eric sees the lights as well, and straight away his first thought is, this is like illegal hunting on my property. Someone's trespassing with torches.
Yeah.
And they're hunting or doing something they shouldn't be doing on my property. So he is like, yo, that ain't happening on my property. He goes and gets his older son, Sean, who just happens to be staying the night there. And he says, I think there's some like illegal hunters on the land. Let's go and just tell them to leave, basically. So they start walking to the tree line, and they get there, and the lights start to fade back into the woods. And
Oh, it's a fucking anglerfish.
so
It's lost.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry to disturb you.
Is this the shallow water?
So the lights fade and completely disappear, and Eric's like, let's just go in a little bit, and just like, so they're yelling from the tree line, but they're like, this is private property, you need to leave. Eric's like, we'll just go in just a tiny bit and just yell a bit further and be like, yo, if you're here, private property, you got to go. So they start walking into the woods, and it's really dense in here. You think about like fallen trees that are grown over, like, because no one goes in there, and it's just like years of decay and everything, real thick woods. And they're moving in there, and they're in there about 15 meters when they hear something to the left of them moving parallel with them.
Cutting them off.
And it sounds like someone's walking parallel to them. And they stop to listen to it and kind of suss it out, but they can't see anything. It's really dark, and they can't really make out anything with all the foliage and everything.
That's such a cool word, foliage.
You shouldn't. If you had another kid, you should name it that.
Foil.
Dad and I
that's
talk about that all the time. Pretty names that shouldn't be names, but sound
Foliage.
pretty, like chlamydia. You know, like
We wanted Khaleesi, but that was a rabbit virus. So.
yeah, that was bad. That would have been bad. People, I would make fun of you for that.
Why? Because she got
I
dragons.
think Khaleesi's a nice name, but I think it's like when people start naming their kids like really random names after like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially when
We weren't thinking at the time.
She didn't go mad at the time you went named your
Yeah.
kid. Like imagine if she did some fucked up shit. Like, yeah, we named our kid after that one.
You thought she was the hero of the show.
Exactly. Then you're like, oh, dodged a bullet.
Uh-oh.
So they think that there's this potentially dangerous animal stalking them. They think maybe there's a predator or something out there. It's moving weird with us. Let's get out of here. So
And it's got a flashlight, which we've already talked about as one of the most dangerous weapons.
there's no
Yeah.
light there at the
That's how you
moment.
There's
beat a
definitely not
werewolf.
going to be a dog man there.
That's how you beat a werewolf up.
I assume,
Is that how you beat him off, is it?
Oh, the light. Tinkles.
I assume they think they've gone out there. Whoever was there has left, and they've run into whatever they might have been hunting, or that they've just
Oh.
Is
ran
there
into.
bears and that in Maine?
Yes.
Yeah, there are, I think, yeah.
It's quite far north near Canada.
Okay.
So there,
Yeah, no way.
or if there isn't, there has been before, and there has been wolves and bears. Like there could be a predator in there.
Yeah.
So they think it's unrelated to the lights.
Some
I assume.
40-year-old dude.
naked
Scratching his button, rawr.
with like a full erection.
What, this? Oh.
That's the scariest part. You're like, no, sir. So they leave. They're like, nah, it's not worth the risk. And they're not that far in. So they leave and go back, and they're like, whatever. Then a couple of months go by, and Chelsea and her boyfriend Nathan decide to take their dogs for a walk. So it's the first kind of nice day in a long time. They're just coming out of winter into spring. The dogs have been cooped up for ages. Let's take them out, give them a run around, bit of sniff. So they take them on leashes through the field, straight across to the trees where this thing had taken place 2 months ago, which, by the way, they don't know about at this stage. So
I hope they didn't lose the dogs.
they let the dogs off the leash, and they
They
immediately...
might run away and they never find one of them again.
It's not like they left a gate open, though.
Yes, it's my fault. Go on, sorry. They let him off the leash.
Do you want to talk about
never
it?
come
Are you
back.
okay? Like, do you want to...
Yeah, I'm fine.
You just keep bringing it up.
I'm more upset that I did it. That's
Yes. People make mistakes. It's human. I'm sure your dog will be fine. And if he's not, we will learn from this and grow as people.
That's the thing. I'm scared. I don't think I'll learn from it.
Well, you don't think you're going to take anything away?
Anyway, dogs are off the leash.
Okay. And they bolt straight into the forest, right, like where Sean and Eric had been, looking at the light. So Chelsea and Nathan followed the dogs in, and about 100 meters into the woods, they find them stopped right outside this big mound. So it's like this big organic looking mound on the, or like in, I don't know if it's like in a hill. It basically looks like this lean-to almost that's had a bunch of like dirt and wood and sticks. Think of it like as like a forest beaver has made this big thing.
Yeah.
It's an
And then
anglerfish nest.
It's like a den. It looks like a den, and it's got like a little hole where you would like go into this den, like a little organic cave. But it's all, they're looking at it, and it's quite big, and it's made, like someone made or something made this. It's not like naturally occurring just in the woods. They're kind of like, they have a bit of a look-see-poo, like, what's this then? Think it's a bit creepy, but they think maybe it was like a hunter, maybe who, they don't know much about that, but they're like, maybe the people who used to own the property were hunters or something, and that's what it was used for. So right out the front was like this circular kind of entrance to the giant mound, and that's where the dogs were hanging around there. They're like kind of sussing it out a bit, like they were really interested in it. And Chelsea and Nathan are just like, what the fuck? Because it's obviously intentionally created by someone or something. So Nathan tries poking his head in, just have a bit of a look.
That's what you lead with your head. Take all my vulnerable parts.
I don't think it puts it the whole way in. I think he's like leaning.
Pussy.
Yeah, like leaning down. You can't win, can you?
No, you can't.
He's like kind of leaning down, having a look in there.
Not poke it with a stick first.
And he like the first thing he notices is the smell. Like it smells awful, like revolting. And it's also really dark, so he can't really see much. But then he's fairly certain he starts hearing a growl coming from inside the den. Yep. So he's like, let's get the fuck out of here. So they grab the dogs, they put them on the leash, they drag them out, and they get out of there ASAP. So when they get back, they tell Eric and Shelley about what they've just found. And then Eric's like, oh yeah, a month or so ago, like me and Sean were out there, there was these lights, and we thought maybe this predator was stalking us. There was something large in there. So they're kind of like thinking, oh, I guess it's like normal to, like it'd be like us, it could be a snake. Like to them, it's normal having bears and wolves or whatever. They'll just be like, oh, okay, there's like something in there then. Didn't really think like much of it, I suppose.
It's kind of like weird though to have that close to the property.
I don't like that, hey. Like,
no,
that's
like
what I think.
like a made structure that looks like a den.
They didn't seem too worried by it, but I would be concerned,
And
right?
there's something growled as well.
Yeah, I would be
What's
concerned.
going on with these people?
Maybe
I'd be going to get a sledgehammer and the guns and bring in Dad. And how can it? Because I don't know what it is, so kill it.
Exactly. Kill it for it lays eggs.
Destroy it.
But I think maybe they think, or maybe it's like an old hunting, something or other that someone made, kids made, something like that, and then something's come and taken refuge in it, sort of thing. And which I still think is weird. But they'll just like, leave it alone, whatever, this is cool.
I'd want to poke it.
So then another couple of months later, Eric and Shelley are doing what they do best again. It's nighttime, they're sitting on their front porch and they're having a coffee when this kind of mist starts to come in. Like it's just the weather, right? It gets a bit misty sometimes and it makes it really hard to see anything. There is like a bright moon, but now with the mist, you can't really
I've seen this movie. It ends badly.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? It's not a movie too, by the way.
No,
this
the
is
movie
like
or The Mist.
Oh.
It ends badly.
Do you know it's not the same as the book?
Yeah, it's a shit movie, really.
I don't mind the mist. I like the ending. It's one of the best twist endings like of all time.
It's crazy.
But it also wasn't written in the book to be like that. That wasn't supposed to happen. So even Stephen King was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
It's like, holy shit, that was better than my one.
He rubs out his writing.
He literally said that though. He said it was a better ending than his.
I thought it was a good one. Like,
it was a crazy ending.
Made me feel awful. So I was like, that's how you know it's good.
I feel that guy's pain.
Yeah. So they're there, this mist is coming in and they're talking and they're just saying, oh, it feels kind of eerie, like with the mist and everything. And then all of a sudden they notice that all the background noises stopped.
That's when a predator's in the area.
So there's no
pulsating jellyfish.
Yeah. There's no crickets chirping. There's no wildlife noises. And usually they're out there and the place is just popping off with wildlife noises. It's super loud. So
when that happens, you do freak out. It's like a natural thing built in. When everything goes quiet, you're like,
you're evolved to think that, right? Like,
do I be quiet?
So
is it me?
Crickets, shut up.
So Shelley gets this like high-powered kind of like spotlight torch, right? And she's kind of looking around because I can't see anything. She's moving it back and forth and doesn't see anything. She's like, okay, nothing's gone on. Sit down to keep drinking their coffee. And then out of like nowhere, Eric just feels like they're in danger. Like out of nowhere, he's just like, no, we need to leave. Like, we need to go inside. Something's not right. And Shelley's kind of like, just finish your coffee. Like, quit being a pussy or whatever. I don't know how it...
Was it outside coffee? You can't bring it inside with us.
He's right here, Eric. He's outside coffee and you will drink it on the porch with me.
You will have a good time. Yeah. This is our cute time.
And Eric, because he put his guns away and everything. He's like, yes, Shelley.
Yes, Shelley.
Sounds like she's hard to live with.
Go drink that coffee in the barn.
But she was arguing, like they were arguing about it. He's like, no, come in now. And she's like, Eric, relax. Like, it's not a big deal. And then all of a sudden she's like, I just heard something weird. And she grabs a flashlight again and she's scanning the tree line and she stops. And right in the middle of the field, looking right back at them, are these three creatures that look like wolves, really big, large wolves. And while she's watching them, two more join them, like in the walk into the torchlight and sit down next to them watching them.
That's fucked up.
And they're like, what the fuck is this?
And he's
So
finished his coffee. Like, should have kept the guns inside.
he's,
Shelley.
already, he's already inside. Just locked her out.
He's locked it. No, everything's fine, man.
Finish your coffee.
So there's 5 of them sitting there just staring at him. So Eric's been a hunter his whole life, remember? And he's like, I don't know what these are. He says to Shelley's like, what the fuck are they? And he's like, I think they could be maybe wolves or bears. He's not, but he's like, they're big and I don't know what they are. So he tells her, he's like, go inside right now. And as they go inside, because they didn't feel safe, he's like, I'm going to go and get the guns, right? But right before that happens.
Let's send her.
So they're like, we need to get inside. They charge at them, like straight directly at them. And she's got the light on. They were moving so fast. So they're like 200 meters away or whatever. They're moving so fast, she can't even keep the torch on them. They're coming that quickly towards them. So they get inside sort of thing just in time. They shut the door and they lock it. And these creatures, like there's just something different about them. They don't really act like animals do sort of thing. They're not doing this, like they're not really, I don't know, that was weird, right? Like charging them, running up to them and then just stopping right in front of the porch. And he's thinking, I'm going to go outside and get my guns. I'm going to go to the barn, like I'm going to make a run for it and get the guns. And
Good luck, Joe.
yeah, that's what they want.
He just wants to watch the soccer, man.
But Shelley's like, don't do it. Like by the time you get into your guns, can you imagine her having to say that to him?
Stressed out.
Can you imagine what she would be? He'd be like yelling at her, no guns inside. Hey, Shelley, like going off his tits.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're not going to get to the guns in time. They both had a really bad feeling about it. And they'd gone around the house silently, like shutting all the doors and windows, making sure everything's locked, shutting blinds.
Was his son and stuff still with him? Or?
No.
Okay.
So the daughter was asleep upstairs. So Shelley goes upstairs to Chelsea's room. She's asleep at the bed and she wakes her up and she's like, you've got to see this. Like, there's this weird shit.
Come check this out.
She takes her to the window. Do you need to
No,
check?
it's fine. Keep going.
Okay, well, she takes her to the window and it's like really weird. She doesn't want, because they've got this really weird feeling about them. She doesn't want them to see them like looking through the blind sort of thing. So they're kind of poking their head up, like peeking out over him. And all 5 of the creatures are standing or sitting lined up on the gravel right directly in front of the porch, just sitting there, all 5 of them in a line, just looking
Not even like circling one by one. They're all together.
They're all just sitting there watching the house and they're looking at him. And as they're looking at him, one of them clocks that they're looking at him and like looks up at him and then stands up. And Shelley freaked out and like fell back from the window because she was like, that thing was like 8 feet tall. Like it stood up and was staring at them. And she was like, and what the fuck are they doing? Just like sitting there in a line out the front of the house. So she tells Chelsea to stay there in a room and because she's like, where are the dogs? Couldn't find the dogs anywhere in the house. Yeah, it is a bit, hey. And then she ends up finding them in their master bedroom, whimpering in a corner, like scared. They're huddled together, scared as fuck, just hanging out there. And meanwhile, fucking Eric's downstairs and he wants to go get his guns, but like he doesn't move real quick. He's got these back problems and he's like, it's too hard basket.
Fucking 5 giant wolf looking things outside.
Well, he thinks.
Ask me disc, you know.
So
I could beat him.
he's like, he thinks, what if I can get to the car? So he's got a truck parked out the front and he goes and looks and they've moved back into the field now. So he goes and looks, the mist has kind of lifted a little bit. You can see with the moonlight now and he can see 5 of them sitting in the field. And he's like, I reckon I can get to my truck and then maybe like I can reverse back to the house real quick and the girls can get in and then we can go. So he's gone out to his truck and he's keeping an eye on the whole time. He's like, as long as I can see them, the truck's like maybe 10 meters from the
This
house.
is 6.
He's like, oh, yuck, the thought of that. He's like, as long as I can see him, I'm fine, right? So he gets out to his truck and he's almost there and he starts like with his keys going to get the fob to unlock the truck and the sensor light comes on and startles him and he drops his keys. And he's trying to keep his eyes on the creatures. And as he does that, one of them stands up and is looking at him from the field. Like has noticed him now and stands up and is looking at him from the field. So he's like freaking out now. So because this thing's looking at him and he bends down to grab his keys again and they charge again towards the house. So he's grabbed his keys and he runs back inside as quick as he can. And he shuts the door. And as he shuts the door, they get all the way to like the porch and they jump on it and they start running around the porch. The porch wraps around the house, banging on like the walls and bumping into each other and like growling and snapping and everything, like kind of scratching at the walls of the house trying to get in sort of thing. He runs upstairs like, what the fuck is going on? And he looks out the window, like he waits a little bit, runs upstairs trying to find Shelley and Chelsea and he waits a little bit and he looks again because everything's kind of quieted down and again they're sitting on the gravel looking at the house in their weird little line. It's at this stage they're like, we should probably call the cops, right? They're like, what the fuck? I feel like if you have to run to your car,
I'd be calling them already.
you'd be called the cops already.
Cops would be like, why is she?
I feel so bad for Shelley, right? Because they don't paint a good picture of her in this story. So she's like, I'll ring the cops. And she rings them and she kind of lets slip that they're these weird animal creatures and she doesn't know what's going on. Like I think it was like inferred that she was supposed to just be like, we need help. Something's trying to break in or whatever. And she infers that we think there might be wolves or something. And the cops are like, you'll be right. They can't get in your house. It's a small rural community. Like, we're not coming out for that. So they say, you'll be right. Call us again in the morning if you have dramas.
If you're still alive.
If you make it that
give
long.
Give us a call if you're still alive.
Rings in the morning.
Everything's fine.
So she does that and they're on their own now. I would just keep ringing. Hey, I'd keep blowing up the phone if
I
was
would just
this
feel like
scared.
someone's got a weapon they're shooting through the windows. Bring everybody.
Well, exactly. You just lie until they come.
100%.
And then the cops don't really not that they don't take them seriously, but they just don't think it's like a problem.
Yeah, I'm
right?
sure they would have written it down somewhere.
Yeah.
Crazy lady.
Wolves. Oh, boo-hoo. Go back to the city. So they barricade the house. They barricade themselves into the master bedroom. They grab an axe and some kitchen knives and they're pushing furniture in front of the door. They're like, right, we're going to stay up in here in the master bedroom upstairs. So as soon as they do that, the creatures come back to pacing around below on the porch. And they're like bumping into the walls and howling and growling at each other. And it was like as if they were communicating with one another. And then they started jumping onto the roof. So the way that the house is set up is kind of like how your house was at Asquith. Like the top story doesn't take up the whole of like the
it's like a room up there.
Yeah, so it doesn't take up it's not the same as the bottom. So you've got like a bit of an overhang of the roof around, and you could they were saying you could walk around the master bedroom on the roof and see in the windows if you wanted. And they said that they were coming up to the windows, but they couldn't see in because they had like a sheer curtain. In front of the window, but they could see them coming and putting their paws on the glass, or like I guess like the werewolves or dog soldiers, like trying to see in, and they couldn't see them.
What are you guys doing in there?
I heard that you were baking dinner tonight, and I just thought I'd come over. So that's what they were doing, and then they said all night they'd hear them basically coveting the house, and every now and then this like got me. They'd hear like a kind of like excitement in the pack. And one of them would start scratching at something and the rest would join it and start scratching there too. Like almost like, I think I might have found a way into the house. And they've all gotten together to try and break. How creepy is that?
Yeah.
Like that's what they've done. And they said it was like the freakiest thing because they'd just be walking around and then one would start and they'd all start doing the same thing and run towards it and start digging to get into the house or some shit. But they never broke any glass and they never ended up getting in. And as the sun began to rise, the creatures jumped off the roof and then they headed back into the woods. So the family waited a whole hour of like not hearing anything, and the sun was fully up now and they felt a lot safer. So they decided to come out. They were walking around the property and there were signs that the creatures had been there everywhere. They had found massive footprints with like claw marks and tufts of hair caught on fence posts. And then there were points on the house, like especially on the second floor, where they had been coming along the roof, where they tried to like burrow into the wood, like digging it out, trying to get in with huge claw marks. And the front door was just like fucking scratched the fuck up of them trying to get into the house. Like obviously they were unsuccessful. They didn't get in. And it was like so traumatic that the family sold the house and moved on straight away. But nothing like that ever happened to them again so far.
What did the authorities do?
I don't know. It's one of those stories that I was looking at a few sources for it. I couldn't find anything in newspapers really. Let's be honest, I didn't have that long to look at, about an hour this morning just to check references and that. I got a lot of that just from a few internet, like YouTube videos of people who are seen as like usually pretty legitimate.
Creepy.
But
It's a cool story no matter what.
Yeah, one guy was saying that it is legit, like he lives in the town and that shit, like that everyone hears about it, but it's a bit like in Wisconsin where they kind of don't really want to be known as that little town.
Yeah.
And it could, like, because they don't really know if it's true. They're just like, who knows? And then, but they're like, yeah, creepy shit. Like, it's like the woods are real creepy there or something. And then another guy couldn't find the house, but that's not unusual because it was so difficult to find. And so I can't verify, but apparently Sci-Fi did an episode of it. It's like season 3, episode 9, I think. Paranormal something is the name of the series. And they did an episode of it where they interviewed the family and everything like that. And that's where mainly people get their information from for it, was that. So yeah, if it did happen, that's fucking freaky ass. And like, what could it be?
What gets me is that dude's a hunter. He knows all different sort of animals, and he didn't know what they were.
He couldn't make out.
Yeah.
And then it makes you think like, and were they like living on the property? And what's with the lights? Like, what is?
And what's with the cocoon thing?
That's it. And it was kind of like, well, was it werewolf? If you like look at it like this, was it werewolves? It's like it doesn't really fit in with werewolves. Like they're usually solitary creatures.
And they were fast, so it couldn't be people pretending or using things.
So it was like, what was like? Could it be like? I think they came to one video I was watching. He specializes in like folklore and everything. So he was trying to find like Native American legends from the area or any folklore from the area that could explain it. He couldn't find anything. And he was like, the closest thing he could think it could be was skinwalkers. But then he was like, even then you see them far further south based on like he bases everything on folklore. So he tells everything as though they are factual, but it is based on what he knows about them.
Yeah.
He was like, they would be way further south. So like, was it like a dogman situation where it was just like a weird breed of?
Could have just been like a mutated wolf or something that have managed to breed together and.
But they said it was really creepy.
It was like 8 foot tall.
And it was like
that's big.
Yeah, it would stand.
Well, that's like your dog
that.
man, really.
Yeah.
But could 5 of them fit in the little
cozy up
little dirt hut?
And the lights. What's the go with that?
That was weird too.
Yeah,
That's like more alien or supernatural. Maybe
But that could have
they were
been
orcs or
something that wasn't involved with them at all. Could have been people.
Yeah, true. Because then they heard the predator thing. I don't know. It's all very strange. And then you kind of think, well, this dude was out of work. They had no money. Maybe they were making stories.
Yeah.
But I don't think they got paid for anything. And I could not find any articles on it.
He's probably on back medication mixed with caffeine in the coffee.
Yeah, and Shelley's just
and
like...
the stress from living with
Well, she's already cuckoo because she said, let's lock the guns in the barn.
But all 3 of them saw it and say that. But then again, it's like, it's not like 3 strangers all saw the same thing. You know what I mean? It's all these 3 family members that could have concocted anything.
There's like shit all on the roof and around the house and that. Surely they're like...
Well, see, this is the thing. The video, one of the videos I watched had some photos, but didn't I hate when they don't label photos, so I couldn't tell whether, is this like an example of what happened? Is this the door from the house? And I didn't get a chance to reverse Google image it. Yeah. But I will do that before I obviously post the video and then I can insert some photos and that.
What's just wrong with it?
It's fun to think
good
about
story.
it like
it's
that.
crazy.
How
I love those
creepy.
sort of stories. It's crazy.
And you never heard of that one before?
I've never heard of that.
It's a good one, eh?
Wolves with flashlights.
Yeah.
8 feet tall.
Does anyone
wolves fighting wolves?
They should call it guns in the barn.
Guns in the bunkers fucking Shelley once again. That's it. You said you had a hot and steamy one for us.
Yeah. I'm bringing this close to home. This is a cryptid in Australia that I've never heard of before.
I love this. I want to hear more about Australian cryptids.
So that's why I went looking for it.
Yeah.
First it was I was getting into the bunyip because we were talking about the bunyip last week and I was like, oh man.
Do you know what I Googled that too?
Did you?
Just to look like, I was like, what does that look like?
Because I was thinking either the bunyip or the Franklin expedition. I ended up watching the Terror, the TV
What'd
series.
You think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Did you see what I meant though when I said it's a bit of a slog at times? Like it's a very kind of...
But I like that sort of thing too. I'm interested in that.
I think it's meant to be though. I think it's supposed to try and create this atmosphere of like almost like you feel like you're suffocating a little bit and it's all white and you... Like,
you know,
it's
a good show when it's in the Arctic and it's really cold and all you're praying for is like, give me one warm episode where there's a sun. Just give me one.
That's what it was like too. That's what it's like. It's hard. Like you feel like it's hard to watch, not because it's not entertaining, but because it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
The amount of ice and snow and cold, how cold it
and then
looks.
you add like a monster that's
Did you
tracking
like
them
it?
down.
Yeah.
I loved it. I reckon it was awesome.
I need to watch it. There's only one season.
Do you think Josh would like it?
There's 2 seasons, but the first season is...
It's an anthology. So the second season's a completely different story.
It's a completely different... It's
But
like a ghost. Or I haven't seen it.
I think I haven't watched it, but it's like that. It's kind of got... It's a horror.
Yeah.
I
like the ones like it portrays us in the trailer where it's like slow, it's spooky. I like slow if they're spooky and you haven't seen the monster and you don't know what's going on.
And I reckon you'd like it.
It's a good amount of once they expose you to the monster.
There is a monster? Oh,
yes.
Watch it now.
Well, you know that from within like the first episode.
Yeah.
But once you get exposed to it, they don't like hide it from you a whole bunch. Like
I like how they introduce it. It's like slowly, and then all of a sudden it builds up and up. Because all you like is just, I want to see the monster. Yeah. I want to see it.
And it's good when you see it too. And there's a lot of lore surrounding it, so it feels a lot more believable.
That's like the cherry on top, isn't it? Like the Inuit, like shaman sort of side to it was awesome.
You'd like it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
You could find your dog first, and then maybe...
if you got time.
I don't particularly feel like doing something that makes me happy right now because I don't deserve it.
Don't deserve it. I don't feel...
I'm not going to self-reward myself until the dog turns up.
I do that as well when I do something and I feel really shit about what I've done. And then I'm just like, Dan will be like, can I get you something? I'm like, I don't deserve anything. And he'll be like, yes, you do. Sometimes we make mistakes, but he just feels so bad about it. You're like, I will punish myself for this now. So it's the only way I can feel better about
Well, I
it.
gotta try and get home in time so the kids don't get there when I'm not there and go, where's the
sorry.
dog? And I'll freak out.
Well,
Freak out.
Well, you're like, well, me and your aunt and uncle, we were having this conversation about transgenderism and sport, and it got really heated and went for about an hour.
Chili
So
goes,
I'm
I'd like to
like,
add my input.
no, little girl, sit down.
If you're a little boy, maybe.
You would be like, women are... yeah, that's what it's like. He's like, women aren't allowed to be part of this conversation. No, sorry, continue. Yeah, so I'm glad you liked it, though.
Yeah, it was good. Really good. Thanks
Bit
for
of a
that.
sleeper. Hey, you didn't realise it was there.
I love those sort of
Yeah.
ones that you don't realise.
Just sleepers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, when you never heard of... Oh, Joshua, stop it.
He started
I'll
it.
start
I mean,
calling
you
by a
started
different
it.
name.
Put the finger down, boy.
I didn't even know my hand was moving. Just doing it again, man.
This is
You said you loved me.
going to do the Jennifer Lopez with Ben Affleck.
Oh, I think I
from,
have.
So this is called the Bunnajor. Have you ever heard of the Bunnajor?
No.
You are in for a treat.
Really?
Really.
Lots of treats today.
The creature is described as a large reptile, estimated to be 20 to 25 feet long and 20 feet tall.
Standing up on its hind legs or just in general?
It only uses its hind legs.
Fucking no.
The creature is also known to be bipedal by nature, so it prefers to roam around on 2 legs rather than 4. In addition, the small clawed hands show a possible similarity between the Bunnajor and the Tyrannosaurus rex. So this creature is also known as the Australian Tyrannosaurus rex.
I've never heard of this.
I'd never heard of it
Because you've never
before.
faced it off yet.
Where is it?
It's in Australia.
No, but like where in Australia?
In rural places that nobody goes, obviously.
Oh, we're fucked.
Main Street, Sydney.
No, do you know what? I'm not concerned because if that thing trampled up on this farm and the first thing it would do is start going for the beefies, and Dad would not be having a bar of that, and he'd be out there like, "You seen this knife before?" Just on its back, like running around, fucking slitting throats and shit. Dad would just be like, "You want to touch you mess with my boys, you mess with me."
The primary evidence about the existence of the Bunnajor comes from the traditional history of the Aboriginal Australians.
Is it a Dreamtime creature?
I don't think it's a dream time. I think they just
like a yeah.
The
Talk about
Bunnajor
it.
forms part of the Australian Aboriginal history and creation myths. Cave paintings throughout Australia have shown depictions suggesting that it looks like a dinosaur.
Is this throughout Australia as well?
Yeah.
So yeah, not just like one tribe. It's
No,
like a
no,
few,
this is like throughout the whole Australia. The Aboriginal people tell tales of the Bunnajor, the huge reptilian nocturnal creature that has devoured cattle, camels, and kangaroos.
Not the
Oh,
kangaroos.
you can't do the kangaroos though because they're
protected.
Protected.
Ancient Aboriginal artwork displays a 3-toed bipedal-looking creature with small front legs and a huge mouth.
Yeah, how would they arrest him for those kangaroo killings if they couldn't get the handcuffs? I can't help it.
They keep slipping off.
I'm sorry, okay.
They keep slipping off. He's so evasive. Look at him go.
Barry, get the cable ties. No, please, my skin.
The Aboriginal people will fearfully avoid certain locations in which this creature was apparently seen, and they will also abandon areas for some time if tracks of the creature appear anywhere in their area. So they're just like, I'm out. Like
Do we ever have like big goannas maybe?
Yeah, we had big goannas.
I wouldn't say 20 feet.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big...
It depends who's talking though. You could, like if it's me, it's
20-foot
hyperbolic.
goanna.
I saw this fucking 20-foot goanna, hey, and everyone's like, relax. It was like 5.
Yeah.
It was one of those skinks that loses its tail.
Numerous sightings of these footprints have now been recorded across the outback. Pictures and casts show a consistent bipedal track with 3 huge toes between 2 to 3 feet in diameter.
What?
Yeah.
So that's it's a
There's
dinosaur.
there's
It's
actually
legit
a
dinosaur.
photo of a guy like holding up like a cast.
Really?
Yeah. These bizarre footprints have commonly been found alongside watering holes, riverbanks, and even on dirt roads.
Country road, take me home. That's what you're still walking on the place.
He's playing a banjo.
Yeah.
That's what soothes him, man.
What's the one? Down, 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 Copperhead Road.
Oh.
He's like just walking around. I just feel like he'd be fun. Like, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's how you get you
Because
in.
it's the little arms. Like, you got to have personality.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't play the banjo.
He's got the cowbell.
He's trying to hit the triangle and he pokes himself, flicks it in the eye. Yeah,
He's like, I think I was made for the clarinet.
I'm going to go home.
These tridactyl prints have earned the monster the nickname Old Three Toes.
He's
Real
cool,
original.
see? Yeah. You
Yeah.
go to have a pub beer with him.
And that's by locals
Three
to the
Toes.
east. In the state of Victoria, the indigenous people have another name for the same creature. It is known as the Murray, which is less original, I guess.
I suppose it means something in their language.
Yeah.
But
Probably old three toes.
Old three toes would have been some dude at the pub, like just
Yeah.
like, you seen old three toes lately? Who? Old three toes.
He turned around, he took my eye. He hasn't got an eye.
We're gonna get him.
There must be a surgeon being that big to just take your eye.
The bipedal footprints of the supposedly dinosaur-like creature distinguish it from other theories, such as its similarities to the prehistoric giant monitor lizards, also known as Megalania. As huge as these, they're like those big...
Megafauna, was it?
Megalania.
But like,
Yeah, they were part of the
part of,
24 megafauna we used to have,
Okay.
and then we wiped them. Well, I think when the first settlers from Africa come here, which would be the Aborigines in the end, they wiped out 23 of them, I think. So they were one of the 23 that were wiped out.
Fuck me.
Really?
I would not be coming here with the megafauna.
So we island
Be
hop.
turning
We
around.
started in South Africa. This is a little off topic, but we started in South Africa like our...
Ancestors.
so you know how there was Neanderthals, we are sapiens.
Yeah.
So all homos. Anyway, we jumped.
Oh no.
That's not funny. It is. Why is everyone laughing? No, stop laughing at the face. They went from Africa on, hopped all the way down to Australia, which become the first ancestors of Aborigines. And what they decided to do, like all humans, sapiens did, was destroy everything. And there was 20, I'm pretty sure it was 24 or 23 megafauna, and we eliminated all of them except one.
What was the one?
Forget which one it was. It was the last one. Could be this thing. No, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but they destroyed them all.
Wait,
So
is
there
it
was
gone?
big lizards.
Is
there
it
was like
gone
big.
now?
Yeah, big
Big
like
lizards.
20 feet long, massive
Yeah,
lizards.
they were. They're like, and there was also like wombats that were
That massive one.
like
There
size
was
of this room.
actually there is this movie, and I don't know what it's called, so don't come for me. But it's really good, and it was released recently, and it's about these people go to the Blue Mountains looking for something, and it is a drop bear. So it's like basically one of the megafaunas, like
Yeah.
what would have evolved into koalas, I
Yeah, it was
guess.
giant everything.
And it just kills everyone.
Yeah,
Crazy.
And I can't remember what the name of it is,
Yeah.
but you just Google.
and then we learnt
Australian
fire
movies about drop
and
bears.
burn everything down.
Yeah.
And eucalyptus trees are more resilient, a lot more resilient to fire than other trees. And that's why they thrive everywhere in Australia now. And that's why you see a lot of koalas, because their food source is kept up. I learned all that.
From where?
An audio book.
That's awesome, Josh. I'm really
you.
happy for you. But not
Off
only
topic.
yeah,
I
but
just wanted to be smarter for a second.
It's what I find crazy is, we came from South America. And
Africa.
No, South America.
Oh, we did, yeah.
Yeah, the Aboriginals and people from South America share the same DNA.
Yeah.
But the way they thought it worked is they went up through north of America, over the Bering Strait through Russia,
Yeah.
and back down through China and back down through that way.
Ah, right.
But there's no evidence of DNA through there, so they must have sailed
Yeah, right.
across to Australia,
Yeah,
which they thought they couldn't do because they don't have ocean.
No.
thing.
Captain Cook discovered it.
What?
Australia. No one else did. I love that they said Captain Cook discovered Australia, and he was like, and when he got there, the Aborigines were like, I'm like, so the story's not quite adding up. 'cause
same
it's
with
like,
America.
It's like someone was already there.
Yeah,
Like,
same with Chris Columbus in America.
Like I
Yeah.
found it, and the guy's like, "You shit me, right?"
But that's
He was
Just
like,
pushes his head aside, walks around.
he's just like, this one's giving smooth brain energy. Let's leave.
I'm gonna call this mountain Metropolis. That's the Great Jehovah. No,
But-
is there a voice?
is there it's in his, he thinks it's in his head.
That's like that island though that has never been. No one's ever gone to it because the indigenous population is so aggressive. It's called like Sala or something.
Yeah.
Except one time, this anyone that did end up dead, they're that brutally aggressive. And one dude, bless him, was like, "I'm gonna bring Jesus to
He was a
them."
missionary,
Yeah, he was
yeah.
a missionary, and he was like, "I'm gonna bring God to these people, these Satanist, godless people." And he tried multiple times, and every time they reacted, like one time they threw a spear at him or an arrow, and it got caught in his Bible that he was holding above his chest. He kept coming back.
He's
Yeah.
like, "See."
So usually the fishermen would take him and like wait around for him. He'd come back, and this time he was like, "Just leave me, it'll be fine, it's all good." And there was footage of them like dragging his lifeless body around the beach and burying him like there.
Yeah.
sort
I
of
think I
thing.
might have seen that before.
Yeah, they killed him.
Yeah, I don't think the devil wants you there.
That's what that's the reason why Columbus and that thought they're discovering a new country, because it was classed any new place that wasn't Christian was open slather. Like it was classed as a whole new country.
Doesn't it make you want to like, you just hear shit like that and you're just like, how did that, how?
They
It's
burnt so much shit.
It's so bad. They were saying though that I also read this thing about the Native Americans, and it said that when the Vikings came, they just like fucked the Vikings up so bad they didn't come back because they were just like, don't mess with me. But then before Columbus got there, this flu went through, like something like a flu, and wiped out literally like 90% of the population.
Yeah.
So that by the time like Columbus came, they didn't have enough people to fight it, and they were kind of nicer about it, I guess. And they
yeah.
couldn't fight him. So
I guess we're outnumbered.
It was different. They were outnumbered a shitload. I think there was like 200 of them. But the people that were living there literally thought they were gods.
Yeah.
So they didn't fight them. They just
Yeah.
let them kill them. And they wanted to kill the Aztecs, so they kind of teamed up with them as well. But he landed and then he burnt all his ships.
Why?
Because he said, we're here, boys. We're taking over this joint where there's no retreat. How crazy is that?
That's a bold strategy.
It's so bold.
But how do you take? Who goes home to tell him where you are? Because he was looking for India.
Yeah, after you, like, obviously conquer the population that you build more ships and then sail home.
Seems unnecessary to burn what you already got.
Yeah.
Maybe just leave him there for a
Yeah, but
little
if you
bit.
leave no exit, there's only forward, right?
Yeah, that was his whole plan.
Yeah.
Really? Like it was like to motivate?
That was it. Hey,
See, I
scuttle the ships we're
got a
going.
good conscience, right? I feel like I'm a pretty nice guy. But if I'm there with him on his team, he goes, we're going to fuck these guys up. I'm sort of like, oh, should we head back to the shower? They're not there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're stuck. But you're stuck. Please, no, please. You're stuck between like a rock and a hard place, right? Like if you've got nowhere to go but forward.
Yeah.
You
He
could go
knew
join
too,
them and
that's
do a
so
whole.
messed up.
You could do a whole Tom Cruise samurai thing where you go join them, but I think you lost some friends.
If you did though, if you had the opportunity, how amazing would that be
That's true.
to experience that
Yeah.
lifestyle
Yeah, it'd be cool.
and like be the white savior?
That's true.
You know,
Do it for the white guys.
no, the white savior.
I know. He's just talking about himself. I'm the hero. They're all not.
So yeah, like people thought it might be like the Megalania, like it's a similar, like
Okay.
big, like even though it's known to be like extinct, they might have thought it was like the culprit. But these reptiles didn't walk on two legs, and they had 5 fingers instead of
So
3.
the megafauna of the lizards back then weren't like, yeah, right.
Yeah. So over the course of the 1950s, many cattle farmers in Australia reported sightings of a large lizard-like predator eating their livestock. According to testimonials, farmers came across the creature's tracks in the process of investigating missing livestock. Several such scenarios where the cows were found bitten in half and large bones were crushed by massive jaws.
So that's like your Komodo dragon type.
Yeah.
thing,
And being Australia, there's not really a lot you can attribute that to. Like
No.
you can be like, oh, wolves, bear,
No.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's, the biggest predator we have is like
dingo, really.
like a dingo or a fox or something.
just a- yeah,
Actually,
just
cassowary.
Like a
Kick
cat.
The fuck out of the cow.
Cassowaries are dinosaurs, aren't
They
they?
are, yeah.
Yeah. What was that story? 100 emus end up, not cassowaries, but similar. 100 emus kicked the shit out of like 1,000 or hundreds of men.
What?
It was,
The
it was an
army.
old army war thing.
Yeah, the army, they tried to
They lost to
cull
all.
all the emus, but they lost.
They lost to all.
Yeah, they lost to
Emus
an emu.
beat
It was the Great Emu War
Yeah.
of whatever. Yeah.
One of the dudes just got there and he's just like, what are we going to do with all them emus? And the emus were like, that's not how you pronounce my name.
They all get in a huddle.
The area around these kill sites were covered with massive tridactyl reptilian footprints. One night in 1957, farmers near MacArthur River in the Northern Territory reported a disturbing encounter. Almost 50 cattle were startled and began rushing towards a nearby river. As the cattle fled, the farmers heard loud grunting noises. Some of the witnesses that day reported seeing the silhouette of a giant monster running away toward the scrubland nearby. The following morning, the farmers discovered the mutilated bodies of several cattle, some of them eaten, like some of them half-eaten. So they just, all these cattle running everywhere. This is at night too.
Do you know why I find this kind of like a little bit half legit? Because, you know, like in the Northern Territory especially, I think there was like, they discovered like a tribe of Indigenous Australians and they had no idea that anything had happened, like with like the like colonization or
As you're saying, Australia's that big. Like there's these places.
Yeah, like
that-
these places,
yeah.
there's these pockets where people can hide and you don't even know. Like I remember hearing the story and it was just like the dude came out and like saw a dude with a car and was like losing his mind because he's like, what the fuck?
Oh, imagine
Yeah.
that.
That was in the 70s, I think. That
Fucking
was somewhere like
whoa.
because they had no idea any of that had happened because
Can't
they
wait to
lived
paint
so
that on a wall.
remotely.
Yeah. So also in 1980, farmers stated that a big predator was stealing and killing off their livestock. Initially, the farmers believed crocodiles as the potential culprit behind the disappearance of their livestock.
But they never do anything far from a river.
Yeah, but the cattle were not being dragged into water as you would expect from
Well,
a crocodile.
crocodiles won't travel across land to go and kill something unless it's already dead and they can grab a piece and run back in.
Yeah.
Have we considered insurance fraud?
It does go on to say that.
It does. I'm like, I think it might.
Finally, a farmer had a horrifying encounter with the creature and came face to face with the animal that was attacking his livestock. Charles Waterman stated that he saw a beast standing at a height of 20 feet, carrying
That's
off
so
a cow
fucking
in its jaws into the bushes.
That's a dinosaur.
That is a dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was so afraid of what he witnessed, he ran the opposite direction and hid in a bush.
I would. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would have done.
Reminds you of Jurassic Park when he runs into the toilet, close the door.
Yeah.
Just in there.
Gets a flare out. I've seen this before.
What year was that? Sorry.
1980.
Oh yeah.
So pretty recent.
That's a dinosaur, though, 20 feet with a cow in its mouth.
Yeah. The reports from the 1950s and 1980s are the same. Whatever killed these cows, it was large, powerful, and aggressive. But these reports are only a few of what is a long history of consistent sightings. In 1978, an explorer in the Northern Territory named Brian Clark, who had ventured out into the wilderness of Arnhem Land and managed to get himself lost.
Oh God.
While Brian took around 3 days to find his way back, it is what the search party found is what of real interest.
Ooh.
The 3 men, 2 of them Aboriginal trackers and a local policeman who had gone up in search for Brian. The Aboriginal trackers had woken up the policeman during one night in a panic. So they're just like, get up, we're gonna go. The policeman reported that as he was getting up, he could feel the ground shake as if a large animal was walking nearby.
Did he check his cup of water?
Scared to death, they ran as fast as they could. As they ran, the policeman reported hearing loud grunting and puffing noises.
Godzilla.
Once again, this is at night. All this is happening at night.
That's kind of weird because I feel like reptiles aren't nocturnal, are they?
I don't know.
Normally,
I
because
don't
they
think
like
so.
the heat of
Yeah.
the day to kind of.
I
Yeah.
think something that size, whatever the fuck it wants to be.
Yeah, true. I ain't gonna argue with you,
Yeah.
sir. Old Doritos. You do what you want.
Littlefoot.
Who am I to tell you?
So there's a few other sightings here, just quick ones. So in 1922, a mass sighting from a group of farmers reported seeing a huge bipedal monster that had the likeness of a crocodile. In 1961, a man reported seeing a 25-foot tall bipedal reptilian creature.
It's weird though. Like the thing about it is with like crocodiles is like you can say it looks like a crocodile all day long. They can't stand on their back legs. You know what I mean? So even
But they're not 20. You wouldn't see a
like,
whole 20 foot.
do you know how sometimes people get like when you talk about the dog man or whatever, they're like it's probably just a wolf standing on its hind legs. It's like you can say it looks like a crocodile, but someone can't say to you it was probably just a crocodile standing on its
just a
hind
wolf
legs.
walking.
Crazy though, because I don't know if these guys knew anything about dinosaurs. So they're like, it's 20-foot tall, but it has the likeness of a crocodile. Like if you look at like a T-Rex kind of thing, it kind of looks like it's got the skin of a crocodile kind of thing. It's got the jaws.
When were dinosaurs discovered?
I'm guessing like late 1800s maybe.
I think it's later than that.
Is it?
Yeah, because I remember seeing something. I think I sent it to Dad because I was like, "Whoa."
Did you hear that crazy thing I told you the other day about it? We're closer to the T-Rex than the Stegosaurus is.
If you said it, I probably wasn't listening.
Yeah, because it's on. We're on.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
We're closer to the Stegosaurus.
So you know you got Jurassic, Cretaceous periods.
Yeah.
And then, so here we are. We are closer to when the T-Rex was around on the Earth. So us on Earth is closer to when the T-Rex was in the Earth than the T-Rex was to the Stegosaurus in the Jurassic period. There's a bigger gap between them.
That's crazy, isn't it? It's
How
like
crazy is that?
T-Rex is like 65 million and
Yeah.
that one's like 150 million
So
or something.
that whole time the dinosaurs, they were alive for so long.
What was it? Jurassic, Cretaceous.
Yeah.
Was there something else?
No. Triassic, Jurassic and
Cretaceous.
Cretaceous were the main
Yeah,
three
there was
ones.
one before Triassic was like Paleon something when they were.
It was discovered.
Permian.
You were right. It was discovered in 1842.
Okay,
But
so
isn't
mid
that
1800s.
weird to think that there was like cowboys rocking around in like America who'd never heard of dinosaurs
Yeah.
before? Like, or like even the British, like they just didn't know what a dinosaur was.
Imagine them digging something like that and go, fuck, that's around here somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, something that big. 2 more accounts. In 1982, there was a sighting that described the same dinosaur-looking creature, but it was only the size of a man.
See, that
Doesn't matter, right?
not
How
really.
big it is if
No,
it looks
no.
like a dinosaur.
No, it's just different that not all of them are like, it was a massive creature. Like
Yeah.
there's some that say it was like 6 foot tall kind of thing.
Maybe a baby one.
It took more bites to kill Jeffrey. He's still dead.
A family in 1985 claimed that while driving down a remote part of the highway, they saw a 20-foot long creature covered in feathers.
Oh, so they're evolving.
Well, dinosaurs are known to have like
Evolved
feathers.
into,
They
yeah.
think.
Oh, that's true. Hey, like
Yeah.
because of they every time you watch Jurassic Park, the velociraptors look a bit different, right?
Well, velociraptors aren't really that big.
No, but I mean more like they learnt more about the dinosaurs and then started adding feathers
It's
to
the
them.
Utah raptors you got to watch out for.
Yeah, them ones.
Yeah.
What's
And
the
the
Deinonychus
Deinonychus.
or
They're
whatever
the
it
ones
is.
that messed up. Like, they're the fastest, weren't they? And had like the real
Yeah.
bad calls.
But it went on to say like a lot of these stories are very consistent around Australia. They
Yeah.
all describe the same thing.
Okay.
It's not like different sort of, take this from that.
There's consistencies from a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And it's like there's some sort of, there's no collusion, but all of their sightings align.
Yeah. But how crazy is that? Like, we've got our own
That's
cryptid
so
dinosaur.
crazy.
I want to go
running
look
around.
for it at the back of Grandma's.
I want to, look more into
Imagine you walk out there just mucking around. It's like,
Yeah. Shit.
that. I would be grabbing Grandma's dog so quick. Here you go.
There you go.
she's
That's an
out.
offering.
That's an offering.
I think she's out of them.
Nah, she's still got one burling around. Old sissy.
Just buys them so they don't get to her.
She eats the green tree frogs. So Grandma has these awnings, and when she drops pulls the awning down, almost always a green tree frog falls out of it. And Sissy, that it's like a fox terrier, is on it so quick, she and runs off with it. And Junie calls them the bloody frogs because that's what Grandma was calling them. These bloody frogs, like saying these bloody frogs are always here. And the other day it happened. Grandma was moving it while we were over there, and the frog fell out. And Juniper lost her mind
Like
when the
squealing.
dog took it.
Yeah.
She was like, and like literally hunted the dog down and separated them and got the frog to safety. Grandma was like, there'll be another one later. And I was like, this is hectic.
Apart from being gross, it'd be full of nutrition, I would imagine.
Why?
Little muscly fuckers with the. They'd just be. I
They'd be
reckon
very gamey and slimy, I
Yeah.
feel.
I wouldn't eat one.
I don't think they. Oh,
I tried legs the other. No, that was snails.
where?
Sorry, I tried snails the other day.
Where at? Don't say
Port
Singleton.
Macquarie. No, it was like a
Okay.
fancy restaurant, and we tried them, and they were just
Escargot?
nothing.
Do they
Tastes
chewy?
like snails.
Tastes
Chicken.
like your normal scallops, I guess you get for entrees or whatever.
Oh, I love a good scallop.
But they weren't bad. They just weren't good. They just weren't. I thought there'd be some different taste in the meat, but they just salt everything these days anyway.
I think it's just exotic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
It's like the experience. You can say you're cultured now because you've had escargot.
yeah. But I was pretty disappointed. I expected more.
Well, maybe I dare say France might do it a bit better.
I wanted to come out like the best baguette.
How big were they?
Sorry.
How big were they?
Oh, they're pretty big. They're big snails.
Did the kids eat them?
Yeah, Tilly tried one. She was the same. She's like, very disappointing.
When you were like saying that, I was like, please don't say Singleton. Like the local
Yeah.
pub's like,
Out of the river.
The special tonight, snails out of me fish tank.
They glowed. Straight out of the Hunter River, the glowing
I
snails.
think it's weird though. Like, why are we so scared of snails when people literally eat oysters?
I don't eat oysters.
That's what it was sort of like. An oyster.
It's
That's
like
all.
snot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a
Ugh.
gooey, tasteless, or bad. Yeah. The Kilpatrick's great because it tastes of cheese and bacon.
Oh, I like the.
Ah, yeah.
Have you seen the movie Saltburn?
No.
There's this scene in Saltburn. I convinced mum and dad that this was a period piece, like a historical period piece, and they'd really like it. It's heaps fucked up. There's this scene in it, and this dude like jerks off in a bath. This spoilers. This dude jerks off in a bathtub while his mate is watching him. The mate like kind of likes this dude, so he jerks off in a bathtub after washing himself, and he goes to drain the bathtub. And I have like a really strong constitution. Not much grosses me out, and the dude leaves the bathroom, and as he leaves, it's like one of those bathrooms like yours, like 2 doors to go in.
Don't bring my bathroom
And
here.
the other dude goes in, and like there's pretty much like a little bit of water still draining left, and he starts like,
Nah.
but he
Sure
goes
is hot out
to, he
here,
goes
no.
to the drain hole where most of it's drained
Nah.
down, and it's not, and then the movie just gets worse from there.
It
But
gets
it's-
worse.
Like they do more gross stuff. Dan goes, "How is the movie?" I was like, "It is disgustingly good. Like it's like a car crash. You can't stop watching it."
I
But,
could start
I
watching
would.
at that
Yeah.
point.
oh
would.
mate, but can you imagine me convincing mum and dad to watch this movie? And then dad rang me after, or mum rang me after that scene, and she was like, "You're cooked." But you know what? They finished the movie.
I'm not even going to start it. I might stick to that other one you were talking about and
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Saltburns good. Just saying.
Yeah, no, let's just try it.
Have not sold me at all.
And I'm afraid of baths, so now I'm just
the
terrified.
bath.
Dude,
Yeah.
are you
is
afraid of
terrified.
baths too?
Yeah, no, just jerking off into them.
Oh, what?
No, I'm kidding.
I
do it all the
don't.
time.
I don't take baths. I don't like taking baths.
No, I don't either. I
Some-
don't like water that's still water. Still water
I
freaks
don't-
me out.
I just think it's weird, like gross, kind of.
Yeah.
Like you just laying in your own filth, right?
Yeah, just sitting there. Yeah.
I don't like baths. So when I saw that scene and he's like sucking the
Okay.
semen water out of, but like it was also the fact that it was coming out of the drain hole.
Oh, nah. Fuck no.
You can see it coming out of hair or something. It's like,
Oh. That is
It
disgusting.
was very hard to watch. No, like I've seen so many horror movies.
Imagine how hard it was for him to do it.
yay.
Dude, I've seen so many horror movies and so many like things that are supposed to be gross like that, and I've been like I felt indifferent.
I don't like
that one. I was gagging.
Don't make me watch it.
I'm still caught on all the places to jerk off he chose into a bath.
While he was in the bath.
Oh, right.
Not So it was
Still doesn't work.
one dude jerking off into the bath, the other dude watching him like, yum. And then he left. He drained
Little
the
bits of
tub.
morsel from it.
He drained the tub and they were brushing their teeth together. So he didn't know watched him jerk off, and he got out and was like, "Oh, you can come in now," and was draining the tub. So the tub's draining, and they're brushing their teeth together. And then the dude's like, "All right, good night now," and he walks out to leave, and the other dude's like, and like stops brushing his teeth. And,
Okay,
like,
yeah,
no, I won't say, but like runs to the tub straight on his hands and knees in there, just like don't go, like just
God knows what he
gathering
wants,
was
I guess.
left. Yeah.
Trying to do my story.
Yeah,
sorry, go
get into
ahead.
yours, please.
Sorry.
Please.
Mine's about antique bathtubs.
It is not.
It isn't anymore.
Just like I don't have a story anymore.
No, I've done a quick one this morning, tried to put it together before chasing the dog around. I was actually disappointed in the end with it because there wasn't much on it, or I didn't have much time to find things
fine.
on it. No, but I'm more disappointed it's on the Chupacabra.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I've never really looked into them before or anything, and I thought it was something crazy, like full-on crazy stories, punching through windows, taking hearts out of people or something like that. Or this little fella that just didn't give a shit. You know?
This little fella.
El
Like-
Chupa.
Yeah, like a werewolf with small man syndrome, just getting just anything odd.
It reminds me of like a lollipop, like Chupa Chup.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah,
yeah,
the
like that
chub
little
chubs.
thing. I thought
Yeah.
it was like that,
It's
but
like
on
cute, it's
steroids.
kinda
It goes
cute.
around just messing shit up.
And you're
I
disappointed.
was so disappointed. I had no time to change or anything, but there is some cool little. No, you know what? I'm not going to buff it up. So
You're just going to be like, no, I'm not telling it anymore.
so
I'm so
there's a little
disappointed.
bit on the Chupacabra. I'm sure there's a lot more out there, but the Chupacabra is a Latin American popular legend that is known for attacking its victims, mostly animals, by clinging to them, sinking its fangs in, and draining their blood. So
I
it's like
think
a hairy little vampire.
Yeah.
I think it's mainly the fact that it doesn't really attack humans. That
It's just
isn't-
a goat
like, you don't
fucker.
I
all it
fucked
is.
one goat.
Yeah, it's a guy that done it once.
They chuck labels on you.
After all I looked into this, my end conclusion, we'll talk about it at the end, I guess, but
Yep.
my end conclusion was it was a horny guy with bestiality and fucked a goat and said, but then when he got caught, he bit it. And he's like, then ran off. Something bit that. Something sucked his blood.
Standing
He's pulling his
naked.
pants up. Oh my God, did you see that?
I love that you're like, we'll get into the possible theories, but this is my
This is what I think
favourite
it
theory.
is. Yeah. Anyway.
I thought it was just like a hairless dog.
That's the American Chupacabra.
No, there's heaps. There's different kinds. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's like
okay.
yeah. So the name comes from the Spanish word chupa, which is to suck. And oh yeah, we got funny with it. And cobra is goat. So he's sucked the goat off. Is what he's done.
Oh, Chupacabra. So Cabra is
Goat sucker.
Chupa, chupa to suck and cobra goat.
So
So
it's just
Okay.
goat sucker.
goat sucker. So the dull man.
So it's like kind of actually like an insult. Like if you were like, you fucking hell,
You're a goat
Chupacabra.
sucker.
Goat
You're a
sucker.
chupa.
Yeah,
Oh,
goat
yeah,
sucker.
you goat sucker.
Start using that.
Yeah,
I like
that's pretty messed up.
Chupacabra more. Chupacabra's cool.
Yeah.
You're chupa.
Chupacabra.
No, you chupa is to suck. You chupa. Like
Okay.
you suck. Not to suck. You suck.
Fuck you.
I feel like insults only work if the person you're saying them to understands them.
Yeah, but I understand. That's all I do. So, in other words, it's a creepy little farmer that goes around touching goats up. That's what
We don't have goats on the farm, just for
We're not-
reference.
yeah, but
we're
we're-
not
yeah,
goat
we're-
people.
Yeah, cow people. Makes it so much better.
What's cow in Spanish?
It'd be like another snake. name.
El Cal.
Tree snake.
El Chupacabra.
The name is so known as the southern Bigfoot. The little goat sucker is mostly known for its attacks on goats, sheep, and other domestic animals. Usually, after the incident, the bodies are left uneaten but drained of all their blood. So they'll find the bodies dead.
Insanguinated.
Yeah, not eaten and just no blood in them.
Yeah.
So very vampiric. Sounds like the farmer did it.
Sucking the blood's weird though.
No, they did it to drain them all of their blood.
I was about to say it almost sounds like if you were to think of a theory like maybe cults that came and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
drained up an animal's
But it's
blood.
I think they talk about tracks though from dog-like tracks around it and
okay.
puncture holes.
Oh,
like-
okay.
Like two
fangs.
fangs.
Yeah,
kinda.
like fangs and so there are a lot of descriptions of the little shits, but mostly it's described as a similar size. So I was like flying through it while trying.
So
to-
this brat.
this little shit. So, but mostly it's described as a similar size and build as a kangaroo, upright, red eyes, or smaller version is the coyote-like and mangy in appearance, like no hair and all that.
Yeah, because there's two versions. There's
There's-
like the
there's
Spanish,
heaps of
the,
versions, yeah.
what is it, Puerto Rico
Puerto Rico is where a lot of the
version,
incidents
and then
start,
there's
yeah.
the American ones, those blue dog, hairless
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
I've heard mainly about the Puerto Rican one, and then the
They're the ones you hear
Americans are all
mostly
like
about.
El Chupacabra, but it's always kind of near the border of Mexico for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah.
So there isn't much on this little pervert, but a couple little stories dated back from the 1970s and onwards. So I just found like there's not much on them. There's just a lot of just domestic animals and like
Yeah.
dying
Yeah.
and suck, which is crazy. Like all their blood drained, but the carcass is still there, not eaten.
Maybe it was a really big bat.
Yeah, but
That's even creepier.
Yeah.
But a bat couldn't fill up with goat's blood, drained of all of its blood. There's never any blood on the ground or on the creature, on the carcass. It's just all gone.
So it's
That's
literally like
weird.
2 fangs are going in and
And
just sucked the
sucked it
blood
all
dry.
out, yeah.
That is creepy.
So it had to be, a bat's too small to do that, I would
True.
imagine.
But Bree said a giant bat.
Giant bat.
It was a fat.
This is Dracula. They've got their cryptids mixed
100%.
up. This is Dracula.
Probably, yeah. It's these little kids.
It's like one of those Draculas with a conscience who doesn't want to eat humans, so
Yeah.
it's just like hanging around in paddocks.
Yeah, or he's lazy and slow and just wants to take the goat.
Or he's into bestiality.
Yeah.
Mm.
So animals as big as bulls, though, were found dead with puncture marks drained off of all of its blood. So bulls were getting drained of all of its blood with puncture marks. So
That sounds like humans are doing experiments and
Is that
taking
close
the blood
like
of
like
animals or
cattle
something.
mutilation? That sort of thing.
Getting there, like alien, but,
but
type
even then, if you
behaviour.
punctured it, you do it in the right spot, just suck all that blood out, though.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like, that's a
yeah.
lot of blood.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort
It's like alien type
to
behaviour.
do it if you were doing it. So, so a few stories like that. These are just all the stories I went through that I found that were the best. So a puddle of slime and a torn apart teddy bear were left after a Chupacabra tore open a bedroom window in a house, and it left behind some sort of disgusting white meat on the windowsill described as hairy arms and red eyes. So it busted through a window, tore a teddy bear apart.
That's
left
like it
slime-
saw the teddy bear and thought it was like a
Yeah.
real
And
then-
creature, and
yeah.
then got,
And then
And
went,
they got
oh,
pissed
shit.
off when there was
Yeah.
nothing in it.
come fuck
And the
this.
kid's like, Daddy? Throwing meat at it. Because it doesn't eat meat. It doesn't need it.
Oh, okay.
Pockets it just in case.
What did it leave behind?
Meat.
So a puddle of slime and torn it was like a white meat, disgusting smelling white meat.
Yeah, right.
Kentucky meat shower.
Yeah, probably.
I remember that.
That old chestnut.
So tracks of 3-toed claw creatures around rabbit cages where the rabbits had bite marks and were completely drained of blood. So these are all like just bits of stories of where they've found like tracks that don't match any other animal. Rabbits are dead, no blood.
Can you
Carcasses
live,
Three toes, that's like bird. Like,
Yeah.
can
that
you
sort
live
of
off
thing.
blood? Like, or do you need to consume?
Oh, not unless you're a chupacabra.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, is there another natural predator? Like, do those vampire bats only drink
Yeah, they only
blood?
drink blood.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty
And
sure.
you can live off that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even animals were found with just a single puncture mark on their body, dead and completely drained of blood. So that one's a bit more sus.
Just one.
Just one puncture mark, big one. But they also say that they reckon some of the sightings I read, a couple of them said they've seen it looks like the chupacabra has the fangs and maybe some form of tube, like sucker.
Like,
So I can
Oh,
pop
like
it-
blade.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yes.
Yeah, so I can suck. That's how it drains most. Like the punches tube sucks it all. That's how it gets it all out
So
fast.
like a Macca straw. It's
Yeah,
really sad that
but
all
not
straws
cardboard or
went
pla-
to,
yeah.
went to
Crazy.
paper.
Yeah, because it'd be
That's
dead after
crazy.
one
Yeah.
kill. It'd be like,
Yeah.
I can't eat anymore.
He's like, oh, I need a straw. This one's just clogging up.
Yeah. So a place called Canavanas, Puerto Rico, a tailless monkey-like creature came out of the bushes 35 times. So it happened 35 times trying to attack the family dog, biting it. Its description was like it ran like a monkey and was about 4 foot tall. So apparently it just kept trying to...
Was it a monkey?
Well, I don't know.
Because they can be quite territorial,
Probably, yeah.
maybe. Like,
But 35 times it came out trying to grab this dog.
You'd
and
think people know
latch
what
it
a,
on.
yeah, you'd think people know what a
Yeah,
monkey is.
yeah.
so.
They reckon it didn't have a tail.
do you think people should have moved their dog, or do you think they're like a dog owner like you and
No,
just
they'd send it
careless?
back out with like a hook on it, like fishing. We'll get it. We'll get this monkey. But didn't have a tail and kept trying to like done the whole thing they all talk about is latch on and try and. That's pretty creepy.
That is very
Imagine, like,
creepy.
Latching in straight in there and you can't push it off. Like that off blade, that one where that
Yeah.
thing
Oh,
wrapped
where
around
it's wrapped. Yeah.
Ironhide or whatever his name was, a big fella.
I was
Yeah.
going to say,
He's trying to push it off and his rib cage is coming out the back.
it sounds like the impy on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
That is creepy.
Yeah, but
35 times they would have had a good look at it.
That's what I mean. Like, how long are you leaving your dog
that's
out
what I mean.
there for?
That's what I mean. Yeah. How
How long are you leaving your dog out there for?
Until you catch it. At least he's still there. I wish I had the option.
Now listen. That wasn't. I didn't say nothing about that to you.
A pregnant heifer died, and a parent. I don't know why they had to say it was pregnant, but it was pregnant.
Makes the story worse.
Makes it still so much worse.
Can
That
you be a
poor cow.
pregnant heifer? When do you stop being a heifer? Once the
When
calf's
you
born?
give
Born? Had the
birth.
calf,
When you
yeah.
give birth. Yeah.
I thought it was once you were pregnant.
No, when you give birth, you're a cow. I'm a genius. I didn't even know it.
Neither did we.
Oh, calm down, cow. So, A pregnant heifer died, and apparently all the soft bits were gone, including ears. There's a lot about that. A lot of animals were missing soft parts like ears and eyes and all that. So it was missing its ears, all 4 teats.
This is kinky.
It is, yeah.
Like, I see the perverted side of it now.
Yeah, the farmer. So all 4, you wouldn't want that calf to be born. Kill me.
Oh my God.
4 teats, a tongue, the rectum and vagina were cut. And they say it was
Like
cut
surgical?
out like surgical now.
Yeah.
Dude, aliens.
Yeah.
Like cattle mutilations.
And there was, but the thing was though, those was cut. So that's pretty big, especially in those places that would bleed a lot. There was no blood anywhere on the ground or around the wounds.
Yeah, crazy.
So this blood's gone. In all these things, there's no blood, no matter what it is. So a boy once said it once stood on his chest when he was in bed and must have been scared off by the rest of the family. And they come in describing the room smelling like wet dog. So that could be just another one of your grandma, the old hag, sitting on your chest.
I remember.
But he
Yeah.
said he remembers seeing like it was like staring at him sitting on his chest.
Yeah.
And it must have just like he heard. It
The
was something
family
like
chased it off.
must
so
have
they
heard the
noticed
family.
it.
Must have heard, must have noticed it was after something. It was human. He's like, that's a bit too big for my normal kill or something.
Like, you'd think people care more about the cryptids that interact with the humans than not. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just like, if I leave people alone, I'll be left
Probably,
alone.
but he
Maybe.
said like he heard it on the jump on the bed or something like that, and then it come and stood on his chest. Oh shit! And then it took off, and then the family come in not long after, and they're like, they smell like wet dog in the room. The whole room smelled like wet dog.
God damn it, Johnny, take a fucking shower.
He literally just had the family dog under his bed, and
Yeah.
after like 7 times of being told don't bring the
Don't
dog,
bring-
he's like,
yeah.
no, this thing. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like Joey or friends, like this raccoon came in.
He's raccoon, yeah.
I would have grabbed it though and cuddled and gone, I found you. You came back. But that's all there is. All the stories are like 99% of them are that. It's just
Yeah.
livestock, chickens, no
Drain of
blood. It's
blood.
all blood. Bodies are left there and no blood. So nothing was gnawed out or eaten except sometimes they'd lose their ears or they were
Soft
torn off,
parts.
soft parts.
Maybe birds or something took
Sounds
them
like
after
maybe,
it.
yeah. But the heifer one was weird. Like they were a keyhole. They said it was like the
Yeah, that
rectum
sounds a
and-
bit
That's a
more cattle.
surgeon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds a
Keyhole
bit more.
surgery.
But
cattle
even a
mutilation.
surgeon to do that and no blood anywhere, not on the ground or on the wounds, even where the teats were cut
Well,
off,
they
they
would
said
have
it was
drained
like
it.
a black.
Yeah, they would have drained it first and then did
Yeah,
that
probably.
afterwards.
Yeah.
They normally find like radiation and stuff on them, and no tracks leading to where it was, like no car tracks or anything like that,
Yeah.
which is weird. But
Yeah, but a lot
I-
of bite marks and
I
no
always
blood.
thought too, if like a body was dead, you don't bleed when you get cut open. I have always heard that because I'm not sure why.
You'll bleed, but I guess if your heart stops, you're not pumping through as fast.
I
If
think
that makes sense.
yeah, I
don't
think a
know.
lot of the cases too depends how long it's been dead. All the blood
coagulates.
goes to the bottom of the body, like
Oh, yeah.
underneath it, and sits like right in the bottom part. So that's like when you cut it, you don't see any blood.
Because I guess
Okay.
if it's not circulating through,
Yeah, just gravity pulls it down,
And it just hangs out there.
Mm.
just chills.
But that was it. Like honestly, I went into this thinking it's looking for human attacks and that, and
It sounds
there was a
almost
few of
real.
them jumping on people and latching onto them, trying to dig their fangs in, but there was no like.
Do you think those are like when you think about bears that attack humans and they've just like, he's got like a sore tooth or something, he's just like, this is easy prey. Like,
Yeah,
so now
yeah.
they start heading up.
Probably,
to
yeah.
the
Or they make a
humans.
mistake, or they get hungry and they're just like going to jump in. It's whatever's easier, I guess. If the goats are always outside and out there, and there's heaps of them,
So what is your theory that it is
it's
again?
a farmer, a pervert, who just goes around sucking off goats.
Where does the blood go?
I don't think it matters.
It really
I know where the
does.
blood goes.
Yeah, I think he told him. He didn't let him inspect
To my
it.
massive erection.
Yeah, yeah.
Big veiny triumphant
Yeah.
bastard.
And then he tried a few humans clinging on to him.
Well, I'm with you because I've like I think most people know about the Chupacabra because it's always pretty high on the top of the list of when it comes to cryptids.
Yeah.
Like, but I've always found it kind of boring.
I
Because
thought it'd be something huge, but it was not, like I said, 99% stories was just livestock like that with bite marks and losing blood,
Yeah, I feel like it could be
which is
explained.
financially scary. I guess.
I feel like it could just be explained by like literally some animal that just likes to drink blood.
Yeah, but it is if it's true though, there are, especially like the bull, and it's got no blood at all.
That's
Like,
weird.
But the
That's
thing is though, who's gone there to say it's got no blood at all?
The person who found
the
it.
vet.
Yeah, but
probably.
how do
Yeah.
you know it's drained of all of its blood?
Okay, well,
Is
that's
there-
what I'm saying,
Is there
mate.
proper
That's
people
what I'm
going there
saying.
going, I
Yes.
can't get, there's no
No,
blood at
That's
all.
what I'm saying. Imagine if the blood's pooled at the bottom and they've only like tested it up the top and they're like, oh, it's
That's what I
drained
mean,
of blood.
yeah.
But also there are people like, so one time Dad had one of the boys die and it was really weird. Like he was like, I have no idea why that happened. And because like these, like you said, are expensive animals, he had someone come in like a vet. I don't know if it was a vet, but it was someone who did this sort of thing, who did an autopsy on it.
Yeah.
So he completely dismembered it to try and figure out what was wrong with this boy because he had no idea what had happened to it, sort of thing. So
the boy being a cow, just for
sorry,
people that don't realize
sorry,
what the
it was
boys
cow.
are.
Yeah, I
they're
should probably.
cows.
Well, they're steers.
It's not just
Yeah,
a boy
it's a
that's
steer.
around here.
I know. I get so confused. Mum will be like, "Oh, the boys are out," and I'm like, "Where? Is Josh and Jord here?" Oh no, I'm talking about the steers, and
Yeah.
I'm just like. Well, naturally, I would assume you're talking about my brothers,
Yeah.
like the boys. That's what Ginny calls them, the boys. But they cut him all up to do an autopsy, so I assume maybe they might do something like that. But if it's in
But for just a goat part
poorer
of it, yeah.
region, maybe
That's
they
what I
wouldn't.
mean.
But like
Yeah.
a bull, they probably would. They'd be like, "What the fuck happened here?"
Especially if it was just bite marks and it's dead.
Yeah, they
like,
probably did an autopsy on it.
I don't understand how they could say there's no blood at all unless you've done a full-on autopsy to find out. But
I think it would be.
that's creepy. If there's bodies with no blood, especially a bull, I'm like, that's weird.
It's creepy stories,
Bite
especially when we don't know of any animal that just sucks blood, except like a bat.
but
yeah.
couldn't handle that amount, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So then you're like,
Yeah, so it's
could be
absorbed the
better.
whole. Yeah, even draining all the blood from a goat's body would be a massive amount of
Yeah.
blood, I would imagine.
I like your theory, Josh. I like that it's just a perverted naked farmer who got caught with his pants around his ankles.
And just started the whole Chupacabra. He called it Chupacabra. We're in trouble here, man.
He was trying to say goat fucker, but he said goat sucker
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Yeah,
issue.
he's like, Cobra! They were all like, Cobra! Oh,
On my dick? Like what?
I mean, suck. Oh, yeah, blood gone. I'm looking.
Like whatever you say, man. It's just whatever you think it is. That doesn't involve me fucking this goat.
We're going to do an autopsy on it. He's like, Don't look in its butt. I didn't have to say that because we're all thinking.
Anyway, you've probably got a dog to go and find.
I do.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I got to get home before the kids get home to
Oh,
tell them
okay.
about a dog that I
Don't
couldn't
tell
find.
them. Do them what
They go straight in the yard and they're like patting them both. And they just
Cody
pat
went to
one.
Mimo and Poppy's farm, like all our other dogs did.
True.
No, we were always the parents. Like, you know, when people were always told, oh, no, the dog went to a farm or something really nice. Mum's like, it's dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's dead.
Well, we couldn't really say it went anywhere.
Except that one time, do you remember Mum kept buying me black cats and they kept dying? She just kept buying the same black cat over and over again called Simba because she didn't want to tell me that it was dead because I was so little. Because on the farm, like, animals have a high mortality rate, like with the snakes and fucking other animals
Tractors,
and foxes and tractors,
machinery,
machinery. Like,
grandfathers.
you've got like a 6-month turnover a lot of the time. And this one kept turning over. And sometimes it'd be like fluffy cats and not, but they were just all black. And I was just like, well, this is Simba. Mum's like, that's his winter coat, sweetie. It's like in the middle of summer. And for ages, I just thought it was the same cat. But Mum was like, oh, we just didn't want to have to tell you that it kept dying. So we just kept replacing it.
buying
Mum puts a black cat called Simba there and looks at the back and there's all these gravestones. Simba, 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 Simba. It's like, oh.
And I'm like, that's weird. I'm so glad I can't read. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Like, subscribe. Also, if you want, comment and tell us a story that you think we would like or that you want to hear more about, because we could research it the hour before we're meant to do the podcast.
Yeah.
And you're going to get some premium shit. As a chef's kiss.
Yeah.
But either way, so we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
See yous.